Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the live instructor chat. And today we're going to be talking about growing as an instructor. Whether that is starting to grow as an instructor or, continuing to grow depending on where you're at in your journey. So as we wait for a couple people to jump on here, I have a couple questions posted for you guys. One, I'd love to hear where you're watching from, just because that's something I always ask. I love to hear where people are from. And then also a couple questions for you guys is, how do you personally keep growing as an instructor and kind of growing in your professional development, whether you teach able-bodied riding or adaptive riding or horsemanship, whatever you do, how do you keep growing? And then also, what is something that you want to do and have maybe been hesitant of doing, or things just haven't lined up right? And, what is that thing that you would really want to do to grow as an instructor, but maybe something's holding you back or there's an obstacle in the way? So if you guys can comment with that, that would be great. And while we're waiting for a couple more people to jump on here, for those of you who do not know me and are maybe watching on a replay, my name is Saber Popoli. I'm the owner and founder of Hoof and Footfalls, which is an online and in-person resource that helps provide free and affordable instructor education and just content like this, whether it's through chats, online instructor development, coaching, mentoring, anything along those lines is pretty much what Hoof and Footfalls does. So a little bit about me and kind of why this topic is important to me. I've been in horses my entire life, grew up around horses, definitely starting in the EAAT industry, or the Equine Assisted Activities and Therapies industry. I came in more with the horse side of things. I was that kid that lived and breathed horses growing up. So the disabilities and the teaching, that was more new when I started on the adaptive riding, adaptive horsemanship path. So that has been kind of where I've really had the big learning curve, but also, continuing to learn and educate myself in equine and horse care and, teaching and riding theory in general has been a big thing as well. I have been teaching for over 15 years now, and then doing specifically adaptive riding and horsemanship the past 10 years. So, when you're doing anything for a long period of time, or just starting out, or, wherever you're at, sometimes we get burnout, we get lost, we're not sure where we're going to keep going, how we keep doing things. So, talking about how we keep growing as instructors and giving each other encouragement and providing some budget-friendly options for you guys, and then also maybe some options that might require some type of investment as well. Just kind of want to talk about that and talk about instructor growth and development. So I have notes over here, so if I'm looking off to the side, it's so I don't lose my train of thought this morning. So instructor development, why is it important? And those of you watching right now live or on a replay, why do you guys think growth and development as an instructor is so important? Why is it important to you? Some things that came to mind as I was kind of planning this out was, it's so easy to get trapped in our own little world of what we're doing. And especially, in a job where we have so many factors that rely on us, our students, our horses, our volunteers, it's really hard to break out of your barn and go somewhere and do something. And so if you're trapped in your own little box of what you do, you kind of get stuck in a rut. And, there's ways to get around getting out of that rut and getting out of your bubble of your barn without having to leave, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But it is so easy to get kind of stuck in our own way. We get stuck in traditions. We get stuck in, well, this is how I've always done it. It works for me. I don't need to change. It's really easy to think that we're doing something a certain way because our self-perception of what we're doing can be skewed a lot of times. So, super important that we break out and do growth and development opportunities, whether it's, from home or actually going somewhere, so that we can see and get a more accurate view of where we are truly at as an instructor. It's super important to continue doing growth and development because there's always new and different ways to present things. There's new information on disabilities all the time. There's new information on, equine psychology and learning and teaching theory and different ways to explain riding skills and methods. So it's super important that we keep learning because stuff changes all the time, or not necessarily that it changes. There might just be new information that we can take and utilize that makes us a better instructor and provide better lessons to our students. Growth also is super helpful in preventing burnout. There come to mind at least 2 times in my time of being in the equine assisted activities and therapies industry that I was burnt out. Finding ways to do more growth in education and development and kind of push myself past that dip was part of what helped me work through that burnout. And then also we need to keep growing and keep learning so that we can be the best instructor we can be for our students, so that we can be the best coworker, so to speak, for our horses who are relying on us. And then also so we can kind of pay it forward and start helping other instructors grow, because we are not going to be around forever. We need to help train up and grow the new generation of instructors. Whether you're mentoring or working with someone older than you or younger than you, we still need to keep growing what we're doing. So why is it hard to keep growing? I think we all know we need to keep growing as an instructor, but there's so many excuses, just to be blunt about it. There's so many excuses that we tell ourselves and that we allow ourselves to get trapped into that kind of prevent us from growing. So what are some excuses that you have heard, or maybe you've told yourself, of why you can't grow as an instructor? Go ahead and comment now if you guys are watching live or even on a replay. What is kind of that excuse that seems to be holding you back? Some personal ones that come to mind are life is happening right now. I can't do it. It's okay. Growth's on the back burner. I don't need to do it. I have family I have to worry about. I have all my animals. No one can take care of them. I'm too busy right now. It's just not the right time. I'm too young. I'm too old. I haven't been teaching long enough. I've been teaching too long. Whatever it is, those are some common excuses that I've even told myself of, no, life's too much right now. And not discounting that, yes, sometimes life does get crazy, but life is always going to be happening as long as we're living and breathing. Finances is another big one. So, what money do you have? A lot of us work for nonprofits. A lot of us have horses we have to pay for. We're not in this industry to get rich. We can make a living if you do it right and you're good with finances and you have good opportunities laid out in front of you. But for the most part, we're not rolling money in what we do. So finances is a big piece. So how do we tackle that? Investment, whether or not it's money, we have to invest something, whether it's our time, our energy, finances, whatever it is. Are we willing to invest in ourselves? And however that looks like. And a lot of times, for whatever reason, we don't want to invest in ourselves as instructors, whether it's we don't think we're ready yet, or, we're just not to that level, or, no, I'm not worth that money to put into my training. It's not worth, putting money into that certification because, no, I'm not that good yet. So whatever that battle is of, am I good enough? Am I worth that investment as an instructor? And we'll talk about that a little later. Priorities. So where does growing and learning fall on your list of priorities? Is it something that's important, or is it something that's kind of, way down the list? The things that we prioritize are the things that we make time for. And, people ask me a lot of times of, oh, well, how did you get to where you're at? How did you get these certifications? How do you know how to teach in this way? And it's because one of my top priorities is continuing education. I don't sit at home and watch TV. I don't, sit on my phone a lot. When I am on my phone or watching something or listening to something, it is usually some type of educational content. But I enjoy doing it. So it's not this big chore. But, a lot of times people don't like the answer that I give them of, well, I don't do these things. I prioritize learning, or I prioritize going out and working with my horses. So I have solid program horses. It's something has to give. And so you have to prioritize where you're going to invest your time and your money and your energy. And is growing and developing one of those priorities for you? And then another reason why it's so hard to keep growing is it's uncomfortable. So I posted a quote a little bit earlier this week. I believe it was on Saturday, if you guys had seen it, or I guess last week now. But there was a quote about get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that is where growth happens. I, by nature, am a perfectionist. Getting feedback is very hard for me. I've gotten better, but I can take things very personal. And I also feel like when I get feedback and it's not, oh, you've done extremely well, it's perfect, it's like, oh, I've let someone down. I'm very much a people pleaser in that way too. So starting that journey of getting outside of my comfort zone and starting to put myself out there where I'm getting constructive feedback is super uncomfortable. And also learning that what I had known, through my years of either self-teaching or what I had learned when I was younger, or watched and seen other people do, however I had learned it, and then now learning maybe a new way or a different way, or, oh, wow, I was doing it wrong. That's uncomfortable. And that's something that you have to get over. And start realizing that when we make mistakes, or when we get feedback, whether it's positive or it's constructive or negative, if you want to call it that, it's a chance for learning and growing. It's not, oh, you're a horrible person and you shouldn't be teaching. It's, okay, how are you going to take this information and this uncomfortable moment and move forward and be a better instructor? And then also, I hear this a lot, especially for those of us that have certifications. We seem to get trapped in this CEU, continuing education hour, like blinder block. Oh, I have to get these hours for this and this and this and this, when we really should have this mindset of learning because we want to be a better instructor. And yes, we need to make sure that we are getting the CEUs we need for our instructor certifications and everything along those lines, but don't treat learning as a chore and as, well, I have to do this because I have to get CEUs. I enjoy getting CEUs, and I can honestly tell you, in my 10 years of being certified, I have never once had trouble fulfilling the minimum CE requirements. And that is because I seek out opportunities to continue to grow and learn. And there are multiple ways that you can gain education and growth and learning, and that also usually meet continuing education hours. And I'll share some ideas with you guys too as we get further into this. So what out of those do any of those kind of ring a bell with you? Does family or life seem to get in the way? Do finances? Is it that uncomfortable factor? Are you afraid of putting yourself out there? What is it priorities? Are you not willing to maybe sacrifice something else to put learning and growth as something in the front? Where are you at right now? And if you're comfortable, go ahead and drop a comment here. I'm going to read some really quick. It's hard for me to talk and read comments, so that's why I'm going to go back and forth. So Jenny, Monica, so money's a factor. Jenny says, keeping fresh on lesson-based ideas is a reason for continuing education. Yeah, very good. Lack of skill progression, being stuck in a routine or a rut, doing the same thing over and over. Not getting good feedback and wondering if I'm making an impact. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, are you making an impact? And I think Jenny's point of saying you're not getting good feedback, there's a point of, are you getting quality growth and quality information and quality feedback? And sometimes that does take a little bit of investment, whether that's finances or time or effort or whatever it is. So yeah, there's different levels of education that you can get. There's, free, there's you go donate your time, there's peer level, and then there's more mentoring, professional, who are you surrounding yourself with? So that is a very good point, Jenny, of, are you getting good quality feedback? All right. A great point of making a priority. Yeah, everything we do, whether it's in life or instructing or, your job outside of teaching, whatever you do, it all comes down to priorities and where we put our time and our effort and our energy and our money. So how do we keep growing? So I'm going to give you guys a few tips of how you guys as instructors can keep growing. They're going to be general tips, and then I'm going to give you some specific budget-friendly options and some specific, more investment type options, whether that's your time and your effort or it's finances. So, because, we're all at different areas and journeys of where we're at. So how do we keep growing? I think the biggest thing is to set goals. And so my husband's in a completely different career field than I am, but we both regularly, several times a year, we sit down, and for the fun of it, because we're weirdos like that, we sit and we talk about our goals. What's our 3-month goal, our 6-month goal, our year goal? Where do we want to be in 5 years? Has that changed since the last time we talked? What's a roadblock? How can we help each other past that? So sitting down and talking with someone, whether it's your spouse or a trusted friend that you have or another instructor, it doesn't have to be someone in the same field of work. Talking with someone and setting those goals helps you plan out what you want to do and how you're going to do it. Because if you just kind of go in with no plan, just like if you go into a lesson with no plan, everything kind of gets scattered and it usually falls apart. So my probably biggest tip for you guys on growing as instructors is to set goals. And that could be, by the end of this year, I want to teach 2 more students, or I want to teach a group lesson, or I want to go present at a disability fairs on equine assisted activities and therapies, or I want to get professional feedback from someone. I want to go to a clinic. I want to achieve this certification. Whatever it is, set goals, write them down, jot them down on your calendar. Find an accountability buddy. That's another thing is tell someone about your goals and have them check in on you. Prioritize what's important. So if you're a list person, sit down and write out, okay, here's all the things I have to do in my life. How am I going to get them done? Is there anything that I'm wasting my time on and my effort on that I really don't need to do? The last couple of years, I really went through a cleaning house of what I do, my priorities, my time, and I streamlined things. And a book that I found really helpful is the book called Essentialism. And it basically has the theory that if we try to spread ourselves too thin, you're doing a minimal and kind of a crappy job at things if you're trying to do so many things. If you narrow it down and you prioritize what you do and what you spend your time on, you're going to be better at those things. And that's just how life functions. So I would highly recommend you read the book Essentialism. Super good, and it applies to personal life, professional life, everywhere in between. So we need to prioritize what's important, and also you need to mentally prepare for being uncomfortable. because growth and learning and receiving mentoring or going to a clinic or working towards a certification, whatever it is not comfortable. It's not. You're going to get feedback. You're going to realize that you're not perfect. You're going to hear ideas that might challenge traditions or the way that you always did something. So you need to mentally prepare yourself not to take things personally, to have an open mind and be willing to accept feedback and willing to accept new information. And then also have a critical mindset of critical thinking, and how can you take this information, whether or not it's equine related, and apply it in the arena when you're teaching as an instructor, because we don't have a lot of stuff that is specifically geared towards adaptive riding instructors. We have to take a lot of this information on classroom teaching techniques and disabilities and mainstream equine skills and management, and we have to take all of that information and apply it in our specific field of equine assisted activities and therapies. And that can sometimes be difficult. Some of us have that talent of taking that information and applying it. Some of us struggle with that. So where are you at with that? All right. So mentally preparing yourself is a big thing. Setting goals, finding a buddy, and be prepared to fail also. And what are you going to do with that failure? And if you're not failing and making mistakes, you're probably not challenging yourself enough, because again, failure and mistakes you're trying stuff, you're learning, and those are opportunities for you to grow. So some budget-friendly growth options for you guys. Some budget-friendly tips that I give to people a lot is find people to network with, whether that is mainstream equine groups, whether it's other instructors in your area, whether it's someone online through a social networking group or an online learning platform, whatever it is. Find people to network with, but like Jenny had mentioned in her comment, make sure it is quality information. And not saying that you can't learn from people that are maybe not always accurate, but do understand that there are different levels of knowledge as you're interacting with people. And anytime you hear information, kind of do a litmus test of, is it accurate? Is there proof behind it? Is it standard practice? And is it ethical? So, don't always just take someone's word for it and then go and do it. Do a little research. Think about it. Is it right? Does it make sense? Is it something you should do? And that's a good mental activity for you to keep growing and learning as well. So networking, asking questions is another great thing. There are, I'm very thankful that I have a wonderful group of other instructors that I'll ping them a question that comes to mind of, actually someone I just recently had this conversation with of, hey, what do you do in your program about weight limits? How do you guys set them? What do you do? What's your policy and procedure? And it was just something that randomly popped into mind. And so I messaged a couple other instructors that I knew just to start a discussion about it. So, don't be afraid to ask questions and to just have those discussions and see what other people are doing. So really great way and budget-friendly way to keep growing. Another budget-friendly way is to read books. And again, you don't even have to buy the book. You could borrow it from somebody. You could rent it from the library. Buy the online version of it. I'm a paper person. I like paper books. But you could get the digital version of a book. So read books. Read quality books. And then that goes along the line too of you can find really good educational videos as well that you can watch anytime. So instead of watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever you watch, sit down and watch an educational video on a disability or a teaching and writing skill or whatever it might be. I can provide you guys some links to some really good equine and disability social groups and websites if you guys want. They have a lot of free budget-friendly options of videos and learning and continuing education and challenge groups, these 5-day intensive riding skill challenges. Do those, but again, be prepared to be uncomfortable in those. So networking, asking questions, reading books, finding quality groups and videos and education. I mean, just because somebody puts it out there on video or teaches something doesn't necessarily mean that all pieces of it are accurate or safe. So again, ask questions. You know, does it make sense? Is it safe? Is it ethical? Is there proof? And then also another kind of financially budget-friendly way, it does take up a lot of time and energy, mentor somebody. So find someone who's wanting to learn, whether it's a student who maybe has aspirations to be an instructor, or maybe it's a volunteer or a friend of yours who has been wanting to become an instructor. Come alongside them and help coach and mentor them along. You know I have learned so much from mentoring people and coaching other instructors. It's not just me teaching other people stuff. I learn from them, and it's a really good kind of self-check of how am I doing things? Am I teaching in a accurate way? Am I doing things safely? You know, it's different when you have another set of eyes on you out there. So let's see. I'm going to read a couple comments here. Jenny said we also need to balance and stay sharp. Yeah, so absolutely. We need to make sure we're staying balanced and staying sharp and, not get lulled into this rut that we're into. And then disability links would be great. Yeah, so I will, in the comments here at the end, I will give you guys some links to some of my top resources that I use a lot personally. A lot of ones that I refer out. And then also I have a links and resources page on my website, hooffallsandfootfalls.com, and you can find information on there as well. And I have all the books that I like reading on there as well. So a direct link to Essentialism, that's on my website too. All right, so we talked about some budget-friendly options. Now let's talk about some investment options. And investment, I don't necessarily mean money, but it could be more time, it could be more effort. So one of the ones that is budget friendly but takes a little bit more effort is videoing yourself. We have these amazing things in our pocket that can take videos. So set up your camera, your phone in the corner of your arena, make your arena smaller if you need to, and record your lessons. And then sit down and do a self-evaluation on how you taught. Of course, honor photo video releases of your students, please, but do self-evaluations of your teaching, do self-evaluations of your writing, video yourself. I think videoing is the most underutilized tool for growth and development and continuing education that we have as instructors. And especially now with technology, I remember having to do sale videos and stuff for the horses when we were growing up and selling them. And it was this big clunky camera and putting it on VHS and making sure it could, be recorded, and we couldn't see it right away and all of this stuff. We have phones now that we can literally set up in the corner of the arena, hit record, and watch ourselves teach. And then we can give ourselves feedback on it. You can even take that same video and have a peer review it. So have a fellow instructor, whether they're, less experienced or more experienced than you, have them review it and give you feedback. Or you could even take that same video and give it to a professional coach or mentor and have them review it. That's something that a few years ago would not have been possible, but that is a lot of what I do with coaching other instructors. Is we do everything remote. I'm not visiting people all the time. They're not coming to me. We work through technology and we share videos. We give written feedback. I teach people how to evaluate their own videos, give them sample documents to use. And then that person can go out and continue their education. They can teach others how to do it. They can be a better peer reviewer of videos. So video yourself. And yes, technology is annoying. I will admit that, but there's a learning curve to it. But once you get used to using the video and, working out all the glitches and learning where to upload it and all of that and how to share it, it's a very easy, budget-friendly way to grow and develop and get feedback or do self-evaluations on yourself. And it is odd kind of seeing yourself on camera. So get past that, again, that's a piece of being uncomfortable. But once you get past seeing yourself teaching and riding, it's a wonderful, wonderful learning tool. All right, so again, videoing yourself is kind of on that hinge of budget friendly, but again, it is a little bit more effort intensive because we have to record and work through technology stuff and all of that. Investment options, clinics. So you can go audit a clinic. You could go participate in a clinic. Go to clinics that are outside of your comfort zone. Don't stay in your little bubble of what you know and what's comfortable and, all the ones that you know the answers to. Go pick stuff that is outside of your comfort zone, whether it's a new discipline or maybe it's, the next 1 or 2 levels deeper of knowledge and information and, kind of on that brink of, oh, wow, I don't know this. What if I don't give the right answer? Well, then that probably is a clinic that you should be going to so you can learn the right answer and learn that information. And also clinics, again, who's providing it? Do they have a good reputation? Are they safe? Are they ethical? Professional coaching or mentoring, that's great. I signed up 2 weeks ago and made a pretty darn big financial investment on some professional coaching for myself. It is more expensive than what I have spent on a standalone certification, but I have reached a point now myself that I have capped out what I can do growth and development wise, through reading and through resources, and I now need professional coaching. And it's something that's not horse related, but it is related to teaching and coaching and instructing and educational type stuff. So I know how hard it is to make that investment, whether it's time, it's a 3-month course I'm going through too. So, I had to figure out, all right, how am I going to work this into my schedule and around my family and around my lessons and around the coaching and mentoring that I'm doing right now? How am I going to make it work? So I had to shift some priorities around for the next 3 months to make this coaching opportunity work for myself. So, don't think that it's just me telling you, oh no, you guys need to go do this. You need to do it. You need to do it. I'm past that level. I do it too. It's a lot of times it's behind the scenes though. And I don't, it's not very obvious, but I still get coaching. I still get mentoring. I still go invest in clinics. Working towards certifications is another great way to continue to grow and develop. And it's not just so that you have this certification. I think a lot of people, view certifications as, oh, well, it's just another piece of paper. And sure, you could view it that way. And, oh, you have this and, oh, well, I know 2 people who have that certification and they're horrible instructors or whatever you want to say about it. It depends on how you take that certification and that journey to getting certified. I use certifications as a goal and something that gives me a guide and a way and something specific to study and work towards. And can I accomplish this? And if I don't, what do I need to change and what do I need to learn and practice more? So certifications, certificates, whatever, they are, as long as they're quality, they're good. They're great, self-tests, self-developments, and a way for you to set goals. There have been a couple certifications that I had thought about going through and working towards, but because there was no clear rubric, no clear, studying guidelines of this is the information you need to know, and not that I want it handed to me, but, at least bullet points of here's the topics you need to know. I chose to not work towards those after I dug into them because it would have been, I probably could have passed, I would have paid money, I would have had this certification, but it would not have benefited me enough growth and learning wise. It's not just the certification, it's the growth and the learning and everything that comes along with working towards that certification and that certificate. That applies in college too, or any type of, graduate or master degrees or anything along those lines is, you could work for that piece of paper and that degree, or you could learn and grow and build yourself and go above and beyond that piece of paper you're going to hang on your wall. And then also, you know, falling into the investment of time and money and energy beyond clinics or professional coaching or mentoring or working towards a certification is mentoring somebody. And why I put it in an investment option is because, one, you have to invest in yourself before you expect someone to invest in you. So before you start coaching or mentoring someone, you should probably also have received coaching or mentoring, or at least some type of, you know, in-depth training. Do you know your stuff before you start teaching somebody else? And that's not to say that you should never mentor or coach someone if you feel like you're unready, because you're always going to feel that way. You know, I still get a little flutter every time I work with someone new of, okay, well, shoot, what if they ask me something I don't know? But, you know, that is a chance for me to do research, come up with an answer. We can talk through it together. And you know, like I said before, I learn from my mentees and the people that I coach. I learn from them, probably, if not more, as much that they learn from me. So mentor somebody, but realize that there is, you know, some footwork and some time and hard work that you're going to have to do before you get to the point of where you can mentor and train someone on a more formal level. You know, peer-to-peer is different, but actually acting as an official mentor and coach is an excellent goal. And it's a really, really good challenge for you to build up yourself so that you can then build up other instructors underneath of you. So that is, you know, kind of coming to the end of my talk on instructor growth and development. Like I said before, I'll drop the links in here of some of my top resources that I use. If you have any questions about continuing to grow as an instructor, let me know. You can comment here. You can shoot me a message through Facebook. You can email me. I'll put my email in the comments. Keep an eye out over the next few weeks, because I'm going to be doing posts on these little points that I talked about for instructor growth and development. So I'm going to be doing a blog post on videoing and self-evaluations, and then videoing and peer reviews and how to do those. And I have a couple, you know, just simple templates you can use for those that are free to you guys. So keep your eye out for some written information on continuing growth and education as an instructor. And thank you to everyone who joined in. If you're watching on a replay, feel free to still comment, ask questions. I will be checking this. If you guys can like and share this video, I would truly appreciate it. And this video does apply towards the July giveaway that I'm doing. So if you guys want to comment with the hashtag that goes along with the July giveaway, we have today and tomorrow, and then it's over, and then I will be announcing the winner. So we're almost there, but there's a reason why I had this giveaway so long. One, I am giving away a lot. So you know, that first place prize is a Arena Games bag with some ideas of how to use the games. I'm giving away a membership to the Intuitive Instructor Club, and I'm also giving away a one-on-one coaching package. So, you know, I made it a little bit longer giveaway because I want to invest my time and give that prize to someone who is investing their time and really wants it. You know, same thing with the second prize giveaway as well. So we're almost to the end of the July giveaway. Comment here if you're playing along. Tomorrow I will go live at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time and announce the two winners. But until then, keep your eye out at noon today and tomorrow for the question of the day. And make sure you guys are still commenting through that. And if it is past July, when you were past July 10th when you're watching this video, the July giveaway is over. So just so you guys know. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and the rest of your week.